What's up, guys? Welcome back to video, and we just got the official premiere of She-Hulk episode 1 that as officially released on Disney Plus, and to me, this episode was like really good, especially for the start of the series. Things off to a really good start, especially with the Jennifier Walters, aka She-Hulk, and how in this episode, and how all this explanation of how she turned in the She-Hulk, and plus we have a smart Hulk and with a Bruce Banner back as well, and plus with this in an entire remainder of this episode, especially when it was bringing the fourth wall moments, and like especially that happened throughout this episode, especially how she turned in the She-Hulk as well. So in this video, this will be my full breakdown of She-Hulk episode 1, go over all of the Easter eggs and things that they may have missed, and how this connects to the entire MCU, especially for the remainder and for the rest of the series as well. But if you're new here and you enjoy something like this, then be sure to subscribe, click the notification bell so much on visit this in the future. So let's get into it. And now, what how this episode starts is that we see Jennifer Walters just like living her life as a lawyer and talking to her friend Nikki, and now that this is her life as a lawyer. And then we see her breaking the fourth wall by talking to the camera. And now, with how this episode opens, and this opening scene, it takes place a few months after Jennifer Walters becomes She-Hulk. And then we see Jennifer and Bruce on the road. And then what Bruce reveals is a device that keeps Bruce in human form, because the last time we saw Bruce was from the Shang-Chi post-credit scene, and we didn't see like Smart Hulk after Avengers Endgame. So like with Bruce having a device, it's especially that like keeps him in human form, and then when the Jennifer and Bruce talking, they make a joke about Captain America being a virgin, and then we see the ship from Sakaar just like laying right in front of him, and now for who could be in that ship to take Bruce back to Sakaar. I think it's Scar who is the son of Hulk, and that he is like coming from Sakaar to take Bruce back, and like this is probably setting up a World War Hulk film in the MCU, so it's setting up something much bigger. And then we see them getting into an accident, and then that's how Jennifer Walters becomes She-Hulk by taking Bruce's blood. And now, especially with how they're changing to She-Hulk's origin from the comics, and now in the comics, Jennifer gets shot, and then Bruce does a blood transfusion, but by transfusing all of his blood into Jennifer's body, and that's how she becomes She-Hulk. But in the series, they're changing up a bit differently by having Jennifer just making fun of Captain America, and then getting into a car crash, and now suddenly getting out Bruce's blood, which has with like gamma radiation into Jennifer's body, and that's how she becomes She-Hulk, and it happened. And then we see Jennifer who and then ends up at a bar, and then we see a couple of guys trying to talk to her, and then like the next thing that she does, and that she goes up full on She-Hulk, and then like Smart Hulk will bring Jennifer back to his house in Mexico on like a nice island, and then we get an Easter egg for Led Zeppelin, which of course is a reference to the Immigrant Song from Thor Ragnarok. And then next we see Jennifer walking around, and we see a broken Iron Man helmet, and then that means like with Bruce he kept it all of a sudden, even like the thing about Toy Story, even after it is done from Avengers Endgame, and then we see the next is Jennifer going into Smart Hulk's lab, even during a time during the blimp where he turned in the Smart Hulk and died, the Tony built it for him, and then after that he says then that like with his blood it got into her system, and then he analyzed her data, and then like that's why with a Smart Hulk's arm is now completely healed. And then what Smart Hulk tells Jennifer, and that like she has like a long journey to embark on, especially for all the neat things of being a Hulk, of how to control her anger, and that like of how like she tries to avoid situations and to stay away from people, and how she's supposed to do her job, especially as a lawyer, and then that she has a lot smarter as a Hulk, and then she like and then what Smart Hulk does is like puts her like through test of how to control her anger and how she transforms with the blades, and then like she fully transforms into She-Hulk, and then like she just have an ultra ego that is not, and there's a monster. It's like Jennifer is just herself, and then with a small Hulk, he admits that he is jealous, and that we see with Jennifer that like she's fully She-Hulk, and not like another ultra ego. And next, so Smurl says to Jennifer that she still has a lot to learn about being a Hulk, especially of controlling when she transforms. And then with Jennifer, she replies with how she can revert herself back into her human form. And then Smurl replies about like either being fallen out of a jet or being knocked up by a robot. And of course, it's a reference from the first Avengers film and from Avengers Age of Ultron when it was Hulk versus like a Tony Stark in the Hulk buster armor and knocking the Hulk out, and especially with a smart Hulk and then what a smart Hulk says to Jennifer is the consequences of being a Hulk, especially one little freak out, one little mistake causes life, death, and destruction. And he also brought up the time that he was inside of the Hulk for 2 years, and that was from the events of Thor Ragnarok. When he crashed later in the car from the Quinjet, especially after Age of Ultron, and now especially that with Jennifer, she still has a lot to learn, especially when she transforms and to control her anger. And those see Smart Hulk taking Jennifer of all the training that she needs for being a Hulk, especially with the behavioral therapy, with the throwing a boulder of controlling her own strength, and then like after that, like this is some Smart Hulk tells Jennifer that like with all the things that she needs of how she can use this as a lawyer, then he replies with a target all the other people that actually cares about, like especially with next we see a small as like a bartender, and then like the bodies baptizes alcohol at a fast rate, and sometimes that they can drink and not get drunk, which is kind of foreshadowing that post credits about against that in a little bit, and that like especially as we see him talking, and that it revealed and that was some smart Hulk. He revealed that he built that bar by hand, especially with how smart Hulk burps. It's kind of funny. He burps, and that like kind of scares the birds away. And then we see more of her training, and then what like Smart Hulk tells Jennifer, and that like she still as more especially of controlling her anger, and then we see Jennifer using her anger, and that's how in this one moment of how she turns it into all anger, and that's how she turns into She-Hulk, especially if it better affects her work, especially as a lawyer. And then from what Jennifer reveals, and that that Smart Hulk like spent all of his time on a remote beach, and like he never saw his family, like he never saw his friends or relationships. It's because of that. I think that's where he spent all of his time, especially when he's a whole being a great monster, especially with the Avengers and like battle with the Avengers, especially with the military, like going after the Hulk, and that they spent all of his time, especially on a remote beach, especially with Bruce and Hulk, especially in hiding. And then we see this fight between like She-Hulk and Smart Hulk, and then we see Smart Hulk using his thunderclap, and the last time that we saw this was from the final battle in Incredible Hulk with the Hulk versus the Abomination, and then we see She-Hulk using her thunderclap for the first time, and the first time it doesn't work, but then like it doesn't go as strong, but like she uses her own thunderclap. This sending waves that like sends like the Smart Hulk in pain, and then we see like the two Hulks fighting, and then we see like so Smart Hulk is still using it as a great range monster things that I use as a Hulk, and then we see the two Hulks fighting, and then like and that's how with this and the bar gets destroyed, and plus and then we see this moment of Jennifer as She-Hulk, and how she is breaking the fourth wall, and that like this comes when Smart Hulk admits and that like, if Jennifer wants to go back to her life as a lawyer, and then with that she says like he as a Mina, and then with Smart Hulk he turns back at the camera, and this is with Jennifer breaking the fourth wall in this episode. With this ending, we see Jennifer just being a lawyer and solving a case in court, and then we see the villain Tatiana like coming in, and then we see this fight between them, but with Jennifer as She-Hulk, and then the two get into a fight, and then with how like with Shield, and then reverts back to Jennifer in her human form, and that's what everybody watching, and I didn't notice Jennifer Walters now as She-Hulk. And now with this post-credit scene, we see like Jennifer and Smart Hulk just like talking and having a drink, and then they talk more about the joke about Captain America being a virgin, and then with like Smart Hulk he mentioned that like with like Captain America, and that he lost his virginity to a girl in 1943 on the U.S. tour, and then we see from Jennifer, and then that like she is not drunk, and that like she knew all this stuff, and then with Smart Hulk that like admits that like Jennifer is not drunk, especially from what happened in the episode, and then it ends with Jennifer saying like Captain America, and then the F word. And yeah, with the Shield episode 1, I think I really like the show. I think it's really good. Plus, I mean, I love it so far. I think with the show, it's off to a great start, especially with those moments of Jennifer Walters breaking the fourth wall, and with her being Shield, what she has to do, especially in her training of becoming a Hulk, especially with Smart Hulk helping her as well. So yeah, I think we're off to like a great start, especially with the show about at least in the near future, though with She-Hulk, and what she has to do to her anger and emotions, especially with being She-Hulk as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed episode 1, and I can't wait for episode 2 as well. So that's me for this video. Like thoughts in the comments below. And what are your thoughts on Shield episode 1? And give me a rating between 1 out of 10. So give this video a like and subscribe to notifications for future videos. And you can follow my Instagram and Twitter for live updates. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.